our lineup and scorekeeping feature in Minglesport was so-so. It was good, but it wasn't really great. So over a year ago, we decided to rebuild it completely. And it took us over 26 weeks of development. We started design work over a year ago. We thought we ship it in September this year, but ended up doing it in December. And in this build in public episode, I'm going to show you how. Okay, so let's break it down a little bit. A match has a squad, the list of attending players. They need to have an on-field or bench position in the starting lineup. And then during the match, things happen. You can add substitutions, cards, goals, and so on. And you do all of this, you track it so that you can track goals and minutes played on a player level and have this chronological order in a match report of all of the things that have happened. Now, as I mentioned, we had a lineup, we had substitutions, we had a match timer. It was good, but it wasn't really great. And the feedback we received was, I want to add multiple lineup versions. I also want to change positions during the match. I want bulk substitutions. I want to change the minute, and so on and so on. And this is when we decided to rebuild it completely and have something that was really future-proof and more user-friendly and more flexible. So we call it Match Control. It's the go-to destination in the app for coaches to manage their lineups, substitutions, scorekeeping, and they can do it in real time during the match, but also after or before, whenever you prefer. So let me show you some of the core concepts of Match Control. And the first concept is really the concept of lineup versions. Now you need to imagine that you have a starting lineup. It starts in minute 0. It has a formation, on-field players, bench players. But during the match, you will add substitutions or make other changes and you create other versions of the lineup. And all of these versions, they have a match minute, a starting minute, and an end minute. And then after the match, what we do is simply calculate game time by looking at the number of on-field positions from a player. And these lineup versions also allow us to do more sophisticated things in the future, like calculating game time for a specific position on the field. So lineup versions is the first concept. Now the second one is the match timer. Now, simply put, you have some number of periods, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want, and period duration. So 2 times 45 minutes is 90 minutes for a standard game. You can change the period time whenever you want. You can also change the match timer to a later minute in time. So in case you want to use the match timer later in the match, you can just simply edit the timer and put it to period number 2 in minute 15 or whatever you prefer. All right, so then the second or third concept is about match events. You just simply pull the match action sheet, as we call it, and add those events. And then every event has a player associated and a match minute. And by default, if you use the match timer, it will show the current match minute. But if you want to change that, you can do so. Very flexible. You do all of these things to gather all of the match events and have this chronological list in what we call the event tab. Additionally, we will show match minutes and also the match events at a player level, and you can get this overview of players. Now finally, all of the things that you gather, you can also look at it at your desktop, at home base as a coach, and get this spreadsheet kind of overview of the things that have happened. If you want to change those and make slide, edits, you can do that in home base as well. Totally rebuild the match if you want to do it after the match. And then finally, all of the things that you gather and all of the things that you track, they build on this live log, and they are displayed in the live log that you can share with friends and family. Okay, so it's time for a demo now. I've created a match. I can find it in the schedule lane. When I go to that match, I can now see a button called Match Control, and this is where I can manage everything. So I'm going in, and here I can see Match Control. It has the Player tab, showing all of the players, the Events tab, showing all of the events, and the Lineup tab, which is pretty much the home of where I need to be. Now, the first thing I want to do is create a starting lineup, and I can see all the players that have RSVP'd, and if I want, I can make some final changes. So for instance, if Daniel isn't coming, I can remove him from the squad. I can also manage the invitations for this match, but that isn't needed. Now I confirm it, and in this case, I'm going to start from scratch, but I can also start reuse a previous version. And here we go. So I'm going to add each player to a position like so. I can change the formation. So in this case, I'm going to play 4-3-3. And here we go. And I can add, subtle changes to the player field position in case I want that. So I long press and I make some subtle changes. Now, once I'm happy, I can confirm the starting lineup, and that's it. Now, when the match starts, it will start counting all of the minutes, and before the match, I can just change the formation, swap players, and so on and so on. And in case some people will not RSVP, or some people come later, they will be placed on the bench or removed from the field. Now, I have my starting lineup. What's next? I can look at the match setup, check the periods and duration. In this case, I have 2 periods of 90 minutes each, but if I want to change that into 3 periods of 20 minutes each, I can do so. Right, so let me just create a match of 2 periods of 20 minutes each with a total game time of 40 minutes. Now, I can also show game time on the match feed that is publicly available. I can hide the lineup for team members. Let me do that because I'm still working on the lineup. I don't want to show it just yet. And I can choose what data to display on my lineup, the thing that I see in match control. I will leave it as is. So that's it for setting up the match. And now I'm pretty much good to go. Now let's have a look at the match timer. It's here. It counts up. If I press on it, it counts down. And I can start it. I can edit the match timer to a given minute. So if I want to start late, I can just go there. I can also skip to period number 2. But in this case, I will leave it as is and just stay at minute 0. And I'm going to start the match timer now. Okay, there we go. So the match has started and things start to happen. Things evolve. Okay, so the match is underway. Nothing has really happened. We're 16 minutes in. And let me just add the first goal. I can do so in 2 ways. First way, the default way, if you will, is to pull up the match action sheet, add a goal like this, add a player, and if there is an assist, you can add it as well. And you can change the minute. Now, if you're late, you can maybe pull it a little bit back to minute 14, and first goal is there. 1-0, great work. Now, the other way to add a goal, and maybe this is more convenient if you have a match with lots of goals, you can just press on the scoreboard and add a goal here. And it will be a little bit delayed, so you can have some time to add a goal, and it will be added. Okay, so match is still on the way. We're in minute 18 now. It's quite an exciting match, 2-1, and we want to add a substitution. Now, let me just do that by pulling up the sheet, add substitute, and here I can make changes. If I want, I can also change the position slightly, like so, and do several changes. I can do as many as I want. And again, if I want, I can change the match minute, pull it slightly. It was actually a change that has happened a few minutes ago. I was a little bit late, and there we go. I have confirmed the substitution. Now notice here in the upper left corner that we're in lineup number 2. And if you press, you can go to the different lineup versions. Now lineup 2 is started in minute 16. The starting lineup was obviously in minute 0. So let's go to the current lineup. Also notice here that if I want, I can make another lineup. And that's basically can be a substitution if I change on-field to bench players, but it can also just be a formation change or any, let's say, on-field changes that I want. I also, the changes I made are reflected in the list, and you can see that the new players are getting more minutes. And here in the events tab, you can see the card with the substitutions with the right minute. If I want to make a change to it, I can press it here and I can change the minute. Now notice that during the match you cannot really change the substitutions. You can only do that later after the match, just to make sure we have consistency. Okay, so another way of making a substitution is something we call an instant substitution. So I can long press on a player here, Henry White, I can see the number of minutes that Henry has played, and I can trigger an instant substitution, and it will also trigger a sheet, and I can just remove him from the field and put another person in an on-field position, and it will make the save. And also notice here that we now are in lineup number 3, starting lineup 1, then second, and now the third lineup. So I also got a haptic nudge notifying that this period is over. I will end the period, confirm it, and the period has ended. Okay, so we're in the last moments of this match. We have a few minutes left, 3 to be exact, and it's really exciting. It's still 2 against 1. Let me just add 1 yellow card for one of our team members. Unfortunately, Ethan got a yellow card in minute 37, and also this is reflected in the lineup, you can see, and also in the player section, as you see here. Now, match is still unfolding, things are getting super exciting, and it's going 2 against 2. Now, this is a really exciting match. Notice that every time you hit this and the live log has started, people are getting notified. You get instant notifications, and updates are being reflected on the live log as well. Okay, so the match has ended 3 against 2. We have won. Super happy. Let me stop the match, confirm match end, and there we go. So the match has ended, and I can see all of the events listed. In case I've missed something, I can just add it at the match minute, and things will be just updated. Here you can see the match player list. Game time is tracked. You can clearly see who has gotten more, who's gotten less. Notice that this game time isn't shared publicly unless you share it with the team. You can do in match settings and just turn the toggle on, and then it will be displayed in the lineup that's visible for everybody, and also in the player list for the match. I will leave it hidden for now. You can also see the match events like so. So that's it, match control, the demo. Try it out yourself, and if you have some feedback or comments or questions, just reach out to us. Thank you. So that was it for the demo. Now let's talk a little bit about the future of match control. Now that we've totally rebuilt it, it's also ready for other things. And the first thing that we want to do is to reimagine match content. We currently have a live log. It works, but we will transition towards something called match feed, and will be a much richer experience. For instance, you will be able to add multiple videos by different people associated to a goal, and also add some commentary to that. It will create a better match report, but also a much richer experience for people following remotely, either live or later. Now, the next thing we're going to do is advanced substitution management. Currently, you can already plan substitutions, but what you really want is to do the more sophisticated planning, and to also plan for a certain amount of game time for every player. This you can do with advanced substitution management. And then finally, we want to bring it home to your lock screen with live activities, so that you see the match timer running, but you also see in one glance when the next change moment is due. So that's it for the future of match control. Thank you for watching this Built in Public episode. Try out our new match control feature. It's available in the app stores. Download MingleSport, create a match, and have a go. Thank you.